Hey military families, it's Charlie Camera with eXp Realty, and in this video I want to talk to you a little bit about where military families live when they PCS to Hurlburt Field. So let's just chat a little bit about that. I have a little bit of experience PCSing to the area myself and serving clients and many other military members over time. I know exactly where they live and why, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so you got your RIP or orders to Hurlburt Field. Now what? Where's Hurlburt Field? So start by zooming out on the map, Panhandle of Florida. A lot of people think, oh, Florida, yeah, I'm going to Disney World. Unfortunately, you're really far from Disney World. It's about a 7-hour drive. You're way over here south of Alabama on almost the western edge of Florida. So it actually, when you go to drive to Disney World, fun fact, it's going to take you longer. You're going to drive more miles going east than you are going south to Orlando. So something to keep in mind. But go to Disney while you're here with your kids. It's awesome. So Hurlburt Field. We are between Panama City and Pensacola. So there's Pensacola. There's some naval air stations out here. There's Whiting Field out here. There's Panama City with Tyndall Air Force Base. We're like smack dab right in between that, right next to Fort Walton Beach. That's the city you're going to hear when you think Hurlburt Field. But more commonly, people have heard of Destin more than Fort Walton Beach. Destin being a prime vacation location for beachgoers. All of the Southeast likes to go to Destin. It's some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, which means there's a lot of traffic through Fort Walton Beach for a few months out of the year, especially in the high season, the summer. Spring, a little bit in the fall, dead in the winter. So keep that in mind. There is going to be a lot of beachgoer traffic along 98. So Hurlburt Field, here we are, AFSOC, right here. The thing that you'll notice first is that there's not a lot of houses around Hurlburt Field. Why is that? Well, because this entire green space here is base/range space. Belongs to Eglin and Hurlburt for weapons testing at Eglin, EOD school out of Eglin, Duke Field, Reserve Special Forces, Army, and AFSOC does a lot of things out there. So there's a lot of space here that's not buildable. So it makes for a very interesting housing market, little micro market that might work differently than the rest of the world or a regular city, right, like Pensacola. Because all this space is not buildable, there's only a limited amount of space to have houses in altogether. So there are some new build communities. There are some tear down new builds happening in the area. But for the most part, there's not a whole bunch of new acreage popping up to be built on. The base isn't selling off land or anything. So that makes the housing market constantly in demand in PCS seasons. It is what it is. So here's Hurlburt. So people typically live in one of three places when they're assigned to Hurlburt. If they want to live really close, they're going to be in Fort Walton. Now, Fort Walton is maybe the second cheapest place to live when you're talking about Hurlburt, besides Crestview, which we'll get to in a minute. But as a generality, you've got Eglin Air Force Base here too. So that creates a ton of demand for housing. The missions keep getting bigger. The housing isn't being built, right? There is some new base housing, but it's not enough, as in the wait lists are 8 to 12 months. This is the cheapest place to live in this general area within 20 minutes of the base, of either base. So a lot of singles will live here. There's a lot of apartments here. Older homes, perhaps older than Navarre or in Niceville. Now, some folks do choose to live all the way in Niceville, perhaps because that's where they want their kids to be, or maybe it's a little bit more family-friendly in their eyes. But it is laid out a little bit more congruent communities where you drive down the street and the houses all kind of look similar. In Fort Walton, you have a lot more mixtures, or you might have a mobile home or with a tear down next to it that was turned into a brand new 4-bed home, right? So there's a little bit more mixture of stuff in Fort Walton Beach, I would say, than you'd see in Niceville, though you can find that in Niceville, absolutely. So certainly the more expensive areas to live are going to be in Navarre and Niceville compared to Fort Walton Beach. So if you're looking for a deal and you want to be close to base, you're going to be in Fort Walton Beach or Mary Esther. Now, out here in Navarre, a lot of Hurlburt families will live out here. It is more of the, there's less of the vacation stuff going on. There's less of all the businesses, and it's more kind of family type housing and less apartments. So a lot of folks will live in Navarre. They'll just commute down 98 with the other Hurlburt traffic and commute back, which is fine. And people love Navarre. There's a lot of cool things to do there. There's Navarre Beach as well, so there's kind of beachy activities right there. Gulf Breeze Zoo we take our family to quite a bit. So, and when you're over here close to Pensacola, where there, of course there's additional things to do, which is kind of nice. So if you're looking for a little bit of city stuff, you got Pensacola, but you're close enough to the base. You've got the beach. It's kind of got a little of everything going for it. A lot of stuff to do for the folks at the bases tend to be, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island, Destin, but we travel as far as Gulf Breeze Zoo and Pensacola sometimes too for things to do. So there's a lot to love about Navarre. It is going to be a little more expensive than Fort Walton. But, well, it depends. Everything depends, right? Of course, we're not talking if we took two comparable homes. But a lot of good deals to be had out here. As well as Mary Esther at times, there can be pretty decent deals, and it's really close to Hurlburt as well. So a lot of families will live out here. A lot of singles will live here, or younger airmen will live here. Families sometimes choose to live all the way in Niceville. The commute's not bad because you can jump on 85 and wind all the way around and come in the side gate to Hurlburt. So now, bang for your buck wise, the cheapest place to live and get the most housing is going to be in Crestview. But it's also going to be the longest possible commute. So not only do you have this additional drive, 20-ish and plus you got to pass Eglin, so closer to 30 minutes depending on where you are in Crestview, but it's just this one road in or out. So especially coming home in the evenings, you're going to have a lot of traffic that backs up at the one light here, up to a couple miles sometimes. You've also got to compete with Eglin traffic going this direction, Duke Field a little bit going this direction. So it can be a little bit daunting traffic-wise. But again, you want a lot of house. You don't care about being near the beach. Excuse me. If you like more camping-type activities, rivers, let's see. There's a couple cool farms and stuff out here that we go to like once a year. But there's a Crestview little zoo. So if you're into those kind of activities, you don't care about being near the beach, you don't care about being near malls, you don't care about a lot of sometimes expensive restaurants down here that you get with a destination vacation community, then Crestview might be the right place for you. So there's pros and cons to everywhere, right? So anyway, so that's a quick rundown of where Hurlburt families typically live. Some other things to note, if you want to get anywhere driving, I-10 is the way, right? So I-10, east to west, we can get all the way across the U.S., and it's going to go all the way through Tallahassee to the east side of Florida and across the United States. So you can get to a lot, and you can hit 75 and 65. Typically, if you're here, you'll just bounce up and then jump on 65, but it's surprisingly accessible once you get up to I-10. Now, as far as the airport goes, you're flying out of Eglin. So on the other end of Eglin Air Force Base is the airport, and it's surprisingly accessible. It's easy to get through security there. It's smaller, but there's a lot more flights, especially there's a lot of direct flights. Excuse me. It's late, so you can get to a lot of different places pretty quickly through VPS. Is the code, which is awesome. But hopefully that was helpful too. If you have any more questions about the area, feel free to reach out and enjoy. All right, if this video was helpful for you, please go ahead and give me a subscribe below and a like. That would really help me grow my business. From one veteran to another, we're here to help. If you have any questions about the area, even about getting on the base housing list or finding rentals, I want to get you situated with your PCS. So go ahead and join the Facebook group below that I created for military families PCSing to and from the area. A lot of helpful resources there like CDC wait lists and housing wait lists, all sorts of good stuff, good resources, and a free welcome packet in there. As well as feel free to reach out to me and my team of mostly veterans and spouses if you have any real estate needs or if you just want to talk through the buying process in Florida, if you'd like to get pre-approved for your VA loan, or you want to talk about renting versus buying versus living on base, all those things, we just want to help military families in the best way that we can. So again, I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope to be hearing from you soon. See ya.